Welcome to the fourth part of the fan fiction anime Demon Slayer. You can find the previous parts in my channel. The name of this part is Demon Slayer Army Entrance Exam. After Makomo's return from meeting one of the Hashira, Kamado's training intensified relentlessly and became even more grueling. It seemed like the exercises would never become easy for her body or mind. Every month, the intensity of the training increased, and each time Kamado thought to herself that this would be the final challenge, Makomo would find a new way to test her resolve. This continued for a year. Today, Kamado was on the verge of participating in the Devil Slayer Corps' entrance exam. Makomo had said she was ready and could emerge victorious in this exam, but deep inside, she still had a small doubt. The night before, for the first time in a long while, she had a full and satisfying dinner. The taste of the food still lingered in her mind, giving her moments of peace. Now, she was on her way to the exam location. The path was lined with wisteria trees, their purple blossoms stretching above her like a starry sky, and a gentle breeze carried their sweet fragrance. This enchanting beauty gave her an odd sense of tranquility, as if nature itself was trying to lift a burden off her shoulders. But beneath this surface calm, Kamado's heart raced with excitement and anxiety. Her mind was full of questions. Who will I see there? Genya? Inosuke? Zenitsu? Could I see Kanao-chan? The thought of meeting her old friends comforted her. But another possibility lingered in her mind. If they've already become Devil Slayers, they might already be dead. Her conflicting thoughts troubled her, but she quickly pulled herself together. No, they're stronger than that. She smiled faintly to herself and thought, how bold of me to be planning for my future even before passing. When she arrived at the exam site, a crowd of participants was already there, about 17 or 18 people. Her eyes scanned them, hoping to find a familiar face. The first one to catch her attention was Kanao. As usual, she stood quietly in a corner staring at the ground. Unlike most of the others, whose clothes were dirty and worn, hers were clean and neat. It was as if nothing could disturb her calm. Kamado continued scanning the area, but saw no other familiar faces except Kanao. A thought flickered in her mind. Maybe the others have already taken the exam. Or maybe they didn't show up at all. Before she could think more on this, two other individuals joined the crowd. Then two small girls entered, who appeared to be twins. One had white hair, and the other had black hair. Both wore wisteria flowers in their hair and purple clothes. Although the colors of their hair and the placement of their hairpins differed, they looked almost identical in every other feature. Even the designs on their clothes, with black on the white-haired girl's outfit and white on the black-haired girl's, had a strange harmony. As they entered, a whisper of silence passed through the crowd. The twin girls began to speak at the same time. Their voices were soft and synchronized, but devoid of emotion, as if they had never needed to convey feelings. Thank you all for participating in the final exam of the Devil Slayer Corps tonight. The white-haired girl continued. Here, at Mount Fujikasane, the Devil Slayers have captured and kept alive a number of demons for this event. The black-haired girl added, this is because of the wisteria flowers, which demons strongly despise. These flowers bloom year-round in the lower half of the mountain. The white-haired girl explained. However, beyond this point, there are no wisteria trees. So, there are many demons present at the top of the mountain. Finally, the black-haired girl said, To pass the exam, you must survive for 7 days at the top of the mountain. They both spoke in unison. Now go ahead. After hearing these explanations, Kamado set off towards the east. She was now away from the wisteria trees and found herself in a darker, more mysterious forest. She had decided to position herself to the east, where the sun would rise first. She had adopted this strategy based on her training experiences with Makomo, to fight at night and rest during the daylight hours. During this time, Kamado had developed a sixth sense for detecting the presence of others around her. Makomo had often taken her into the forest to help her distinguish between the auras of demons and other creatures. These experiences had taught her that demons who had consumed more blood from kibutsuji or eaten more people had a darker, more terrifying aura. Now she could confidently say that there were about 100 to 120 demons in this area. Hiding from and fighting this number of demons would not be easy. But Kamado took a deep breath and resolutely told herself, "I will survive for 7 days." 3 days had passed since the start of the exam, and Nezuko was still enduring the harsh conditions of the mountain, battling demons. Nothing particularly significant had happened during this time. The days just seemed to pass by, quickly, one after another. On the 4th day, she fought against 4 demons who hadn't eaten many humans yet. She saved 3 people who were heading toward the demon's lair. But on the 5th day, she separated from them, as they had requested. On the 6th day, the sun was slowly setting, and the hunger was weighing heavily on her, while her body was drained from exhaustion. By the 7th day, the fight with another demon had left her physically wrecked. The pain throughout her body was undeniable, and she was barely able to continue. But she knew she had to push through. She just needed to survive the night. Then, the 8th day arrived. As the sun rose, it marked the end of the entrance exam for the Demon Slayer Corps. Nezuko opened her eyes, feeling the pain from the previous night's battle. As she reached the location where the exam would end, she found only Kanae and another unfamiliar boy there. The boy had black hair and wore a simple black outfit, with no distinctive features. Nezuko noticed something hanging around his neck, but she couldn't tell what it was. With a bit of attention, she realized he was carrying something unusual, but she didn't think much of it. Kanae stood calmly, her expression unshaken, as always. Despite the harsh trials, she remained composed. Unlike Nezuko, whose body was trembling from exhaustion and pain, Kanae showed no sign of disturbance. Nezuko couldn't help but feel a slight admiration for Kanae's unwavering composure. The voices of 2 girls rang out, one with black hair speaking first. They exuded an air of dignity and composure. It was almost unsettling how they seemed unaffected by the death and suffering surrounding the exam, behaving as if it were just an everyday occurrence. The other girl continued, "Welcome, congratulations. We're glad to see you're safe." Her words hit Nezuko like a shard of ice. The girls explained that the first step was to take measurements for uniforms. Afterward, ranks would be assigned, and then the candidates would choose a stone for their swords. There were 10 ranks in total, and Nezuko was currently at the lowest rank, Misunoto. Then the girl spoke about the Kasugai crows that would be assigned for communication purposes. At that moment, the crows landed on Nezuko's shoulders, marking the beginning of her involvement in the Demon Slayer Corps. Communication, Nezuko thought to herself, but there was no time to think about it further. when they were told to select a stone for their sword, Nezuko, without any prior knowledge, didn't know which one to choose. Every stone seemed unique, but she wasn't sure which one would resonate with her. Kanai stepped forward, paused for a moment, but the unknown boy moved without hesitation, selecting one of the stones right away. "We should just pick the one that calls to us," he said. That statement lingered in Nezuko's mind. Perhaps that was the answer, trusting her own instincts to make the right choice. After the stone selection, there wasn't much time for rest. Nezuko, exhausted, barely managed to make it back home. As she approached her house, she spotted a familiar face from afar. Tanjiro. The moment she recognized him, her body gave out from fatigue, and she fainted. There was no time for greetings. She spent the entire night asleep, without any exchange of words. The only thing that mattered was that everything was finally over for now, and all she could do was wait for the next challenge that awaited her.